Good morning, everybody. It's Mindful Monday and it's the 18th of May. This is Mental Health Awareness Week, so I thought it is appropriate to start with Mindful Monday. And I think that we've got to think of, as usual, our shout out to frontline workers, all people who are having to work throughout all this crisis and who are saving lives, who are helping us to live as normally as possible, the delivery people, the drivers, everybody. And it's a shame, I think, that some of the not social media, but maybe media messages have come across as they're low skilled. Now, I think they're low paid, but certainly it's incorrect to say that they're low skilled, particularly the nurses. But everybody, I mean, we all have a place to play in this crisis, and them more than ever. So I think that you know these hopefully my sort of short, quick techniques will help even these people who are having to work throughout this crisis. Their minds must be racing. I think they're needing to be in two or three places at once. They're needed at home, they're needed at work. So the mindful techniques are really going to be helpful when they get time and space to do them. Some people, of course, don't have the internet or mobiles, and I've seen that there are really creative and innovative things happening with people putting up. I think there's screens so that grandparents can hug their children, their grandchildren, by having sort of their arms through plastic holders. Nothing like the real thing, but it's helping people to maybe connect. So I think that until we hug again, of course, that is maybe, the best they can do at this time. So the affirmation, I think, for all these people, we need to start with that again. And that is, we are thinking of you all at this time, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. So what does it mean to be mindful? Well, first of all, I think we need to have clarity. And I think lots of people are confused. Many people are saying, yes, messages are absolutely clear, but particularly maybe down in England where are schools opening, are schools not opening, teachers, children, there are a variety of people. Some families are confused, some aren't. Now, we know the schools have been open for vulnerable children, for key workers, children, but you can understand really the challenges that teachers will be faced with trying to get children to socially distance. I mean, I was listening to something about there was a mother saying, well, her wee one is used to playing and hugging the wee ones. He's going to school, and kind of what effect is that going to have on them to say, well, all your friends are here, but you can't touch them. You've got to be 2 meters apart. I mean, it's going to be challenging for children, maybe psychological effects of it, and of course for teachers as well. And we have to remember that we're not all in the same boat. We're all in the same storm, and each of the different countries in the UK themselves are making different decisions. So we've got to consider that we are in different boats. So the other thing about sort of education is I'm hearing lots of words saying like, oh, children are missing out and they're going to be disadvantaged. But I think mindfulness and my techniques are trying to look at the positives of this. Why not look at it that instead of being disadvantaged or missing out, this is an opportunity for them to learn in a different way, not your arithmetic and your sums and your spelling, but to actually learn to be creative, expressing themselves, just becoming aware of life in more general terms. And I think that is a really good thing. Now, mindful or mindfulness can sound confusing. There's much talk about being mindful, but it is now I've created my techniques that are based on sort of mindful techniques plus other kind of therapies, therapeutic approaches, but it's not really as confusing as you think. You can learn to do it. Now, it can be challenging in one way because it means you have to pay attention. You've got to focus. You have to be aware not just of everything around you, but of every daily activity. Remember I talked on Friday, I think it was, that not to rush, not I used to rush my food, and maybe at school you had to rush through having your lunch because you get back to classes, and you have to kind of rethink and relearn yourself and take it slowly. I remember being told take 40 chews to each bite. Now, I'm not sure if we actually do that, but mindfulness is about thinking about each bite, each chew. If you take time to savour and taste what you're eating, you will get more pleasure out of it. And of course, being mindful is also being in the present moment. It's a bit like, do you remember my SA and my FA? Now, F is not the horrible word or sweary word. It's about full attention, giving full attention to each task, each thing you do. When you do this, instead of your mind racing around, you're actually focusing and giving attention to that one thing. And of course, like anything worthwhile, it needs to be practiced regularly until it becomes a good habit. The questions to ask yourself are, what do you think about when you're doing the washing, when you're doing the cooking, when you're eating, anything? What are you actually doing? If the answer is, which most of us will be, is racing about as you're washing up, you think, oh, the children to be picked up from my friends. Have I got this? Have I got a list to do for the shopping? Or I haven't finished that job. And your mind and everything is racing. You're not really even attending to washing the dishes. You're just all over the place. And of course, you tend not to maybe complete things as effectively. So the next time there's an exercise here, and this sounds a bit silly, but there's an exercise here in mindfulness, and that is the next time you brush your teeth. Now that's a regular thing. We should be doing it morning and night and maybe after meals or whatever. The next time you brush your teeth, take a moment to think about the smell of the toothpaste, the buzzing of, if you've got an electric toothbrush, the buzzing of the electric toothbrush, the taste on your teeth, on your tongue, the freshness. When you're eating, take a moment to think about looking at the food first, then maybe smelling it, and then, of course, before tasting it. All these things are actually mindfulness techniques, and it slows you down. There's scientific research on this. I mean, a neuroscientist actually looked at a particular food. They said, well, is it the look? Is it the smell? What is it that affects sort of the taste? And they did an experiment, I think, with experts actually. They took white wine and they put odourless, colourless dye, red dye in it, and then asked experts to assess it. And they evaluated it, they described it the way they would a red wine, because they saw it as red. So of course this research was looking at it identified that the smell and the sight, and it's not the taste, that actually gives you how you perceive the food you're eating. So it's got to do with mindfulness. This has to do with mindfulness because it's reminding you to slow down. Now you can learn by being mindful. You can learn being mindful by using your achievements board and your inspiration board. I hope you've all got these. Remember, it seems like an eternity ago I talked about these. We tend not to think of our achievements. We tend to wait on others to say, oh, you did a good job for that. Stop all of that. Look at yourself and get that board up in front of your desk or in the kitchen, wherever you are most. Might be even the bathroom. We're talking about the bathroom a lot throughout this crisis. But it might be a place where you have time and space for yourself. So just look at that, and it's like just giving yourself time to look at what you wanted to do, where you wanted to be, and it makes you much more positive, and it creates a positive energy within you. So in addition, of course, to your achievements board, you need to regularly practice my ABC core techniques. They are mindfulness techniques. I sometimes think I shoot myself in the foot here, but I remember Walter, my IT guy who's helped me to kind of get to this far with my mind circles. He said that the feedback is, oh, these are so simple, therefore they can't work. Now that's true. They are simple and they're easy to use, but they won't work if you don't use them. And of course, it's regularly using them is the only way they can become effective. So for mindfulness, let's just try. An A would be, I am mindful. I focus on things. A B is, of course, your breathing, your deep breathing, and we know that gives you energy and helps calm you down as well. And then creatively, your C is your creative imagination. This is where your imagination, you use your imagination for the best possible outcome for whatever you are doing. Even the simplest of tasks. You want all the dishes to be clean. You want your tidying out a drawer. You want it to look its best. All these simple things are actually mindfulness techniques if you're focusing on what you're doing. But you need to give yourself time and space for creating, during this time, I think, wonderful memories, especially children. I think that you don't want them to think back on this time as, oh, we were all in lockdown and our parents were fighting and everybody was arguing and I couldn't see the grandparents, couldn't do this. You need to turn all that around and look at positive opportunities for children, whether they're missing months or years of education. Then look at it more in a positive way, that they're learning about life and they can learn. We hope to come out of this maybe in a better situation life-wise in general than before. So if you're living with children and you're feeling everything getting on top of you, a mindfulness would be to create as positive a happy atmosphere as possible. Now that's simple things. Clear the clutter, dust off your negative energy, and take time to use your imagination. Children are wonderful at this, so maybe learn from them, which is great. They're just super at using their imagination. Give a child a bit of paper, a toilet roll holder, anything, and they'll create something out of it. And of course, you can practice this every day and remember the FA to my ABC. You need to have full attention on this. So I've got some exercises for you. I thought first exercise would be take a moment to think about, now this is going to sound crazy, but take a moment to think about your feet. Our feet are attached to you. Hopefully, of course, we do have people who've undergone maybe amputees, but most of us will have our feet. If you haven't and it's your hands or anything, focus on it and think, do you actually feel, are they in shoes? Are your shoes too tight? Do you need to take them off? Do you need to wiggle your toes? It's kind of an exercise of focusing on each toe, maybe your little toe, this next one. It's a bit like This Little Piggy Went to Market is a bit like that sort of poem. And actually it can focus you on each toe. In fact, I bet if you've done that with children, this little piggy went to market, this little piggy stayed at home. So try and do that with yourself in your head, or perhaps the people round about you, and even the children will be thinking, what is he or she doing? You may have talked or heard people talk about mindfulness as meaning to be in the present moment and clearing your mind. But clearing your mind is very challenging. And I don't know about you, if I'm told, oh, that's wet paint over there, don't touch it, there's something in my head goes, I want to touch that wet paint. And it's a bit like that. If I say to you, you have to clear your mind just now, I bet I know what will happen. You're all like, oh, I've got that to do and this to do, and I've got to go to the doctor, and your mind just starts racing. So I like to simplify things. So, and don't particularly like jargon. I like to know that there's science or research behind what I do, but I then simplify it down. I don't like when people use jargon and it's trying to pull the wool over your eyes. And when you say, what does that mean? They maybe get another diatribe of what it is in their scientific language. So what I would do is, when your mind wanders, that's okay. Let it wander, but suddenly focus on what it's wondering about. Like, go, I'm thinking about doing the washing. Now, as soon as you think about that, You're actually bringing yourself back into the present moment. It takes a wee while, but you can use the affirmations like, my mind is wandering, I am focused. And in your head, you're saying these things. So that's the A again of the affirmation, So you've got to think also of a time where the B for the breathing. Now, I don't suggest that you go into some creative imagination and close your eyes when you're at traffic lights. But if you're impatient, say you're at traffic lights, this is another exercise, and you're stuck at the red traffic lights and you know you've got to be somewhere. What happens? You get impatient, you get irritated, and you're starting really to get angry, which is no good for anybody, you in the car or the people in front or behind. So remember the O.J. Simpson trial, what the judge said to the prosecutor who was getting angry? Take 3 deep breaths. So when you're in the car, if you feel that tension, that anger rising, take a deep breath, because that will calm you immediately and also give you that relaxed mind not to get irritated. And of course, it helps you to be patient then. Same happens when you're in a queue at the supermarket and you know you've got to be somewhere and there's 40 people ahead of you. And in fact, I find I can get in. I'm not superhuman, so just like you, I give these techniques. And thank you. I think it was Barbara or somebody last week. Was getting very irritated and upset and angry about something, and it wasn't a major thing, but I remember, I think I must have said to someone or posted it perhaps, a private message came back into me saying, I think I know someone who has techniques like ABC. So I had to be reminded of my own ABC techniques, and because they're easy to forget. So if you're in the supermarket queue or maybe going to these self-service, I just really don't like them. I'd rather speak to an individual. And they never work for me. So I end up having to have somebody. So you're getting irritated. So I just have to take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale. And that's, of course, part of a mindfulness as well. So be aware when you breathe in. That's the other thing about mindfulness, is being aware of your breath. As you breathe in, you can say, I'm aware of the breath coming in and exhaling. Now, when you do this and you're aware of your breathing, you actually can find inner happiness. And it will reduce your worries and your anxiety. And I've talked before in some of the other videos that why worry about something really you have no control over? And, you're caught up in all these worries and it stops you from enjoying the moment, enjoying life. So try not to do that, because if you start worrying and get stressed, at the end of the day, stress does kill. So you don't want that to happen. We've got enough going on round about us. So you need to relax and remember that using my ABC, it's silencing your mind, because you can't really be doing anything else. You're bringing positive energy into your mind and your body. So another exercise, breathing and focusing. Note how sort of powerful the deep breathing exercise is. I'm sure you are all practicing it, because if you've been listening to me, I know you're all wonderful people and you will be practicing this. So it's called mindfulness breathing. Although I haven't called it that, this deep breathing is that. And when you say the words in your head, you can say, I breathe in and hold, and I breathe out. And you can't really think about anything else. Now, another exercise is, and you can go over these videos again, and maybe you obviously can't maybe do all these exercises just now, so I hope you revisit them and you can do this. Be aware and focus on your body. Now you can do this when you're breathing. Remember I said put your hand on your tummy, your lower diaphragm. That's you kind of linking your mind and your body. You're thinking about, as you breathe in, your tummy is pushing out like a balloon, blowing up a balloon. Hold, and when you breathe out, your tummy's going back in. So often somewhere in your if you're touching your body anywhere and focus your mind on it, then you're linking your body and your mind. And I think have you ever been with somebody where it sounds a wee bit crazy, but you're talking. So the person is present in body, they're actually there, but they're not with you. And you go kind of, knock, knock, is there anyone in? And of course, their mind is elsewhere. So although their body is there, their mind is elsewhere. And that's when you try and bring them back. And that's what your breathing's doing to yourself. Another exercise, releasing tension in the body. You can release tension in the body by using my A and your B. It's a short exercise, and of course, again, if you're driving, you can do this. If you find your tension rising, then you've got to maybe say, I'm aware of the tension, and take your deep breath in and out. And of course, another exercise, and I've talked often about this, walking in nature, or opening the window, or looking out. Now, it's a greyish day here, there's grey skies, but actually, I'm not grey. I can look at it from a different perspective and go, well, there's clouds there, but it's dry. And if the rain comes, it's going to water the flowers. So anything that will help nature. And when you walk in nature, please be mindful. And we've talked about this, I've talked about this throughout. Be aware of everything round about you. Now, even if you're walking outside on the pavements, the cracks in the pavements, there might be dandelions growing through or weeds. That's nature as well. So just look wherever you are. It's the miracle of nature, and nature is wonderful. And say to yourself, breathing in, I feel at peace. I am calm. I feel good. So the other way of releasing the tension in your body, and it's kind of a longer exercise, and it's looking at when you can meditate, you can start looking at each part of your body, and it means like you would focus on your toes again, and you would close your eyes and you would focus on your toes, and you can wiggle them around, and then stop, and you move up to the ankles, and then the calves of the legs. You can tighten them and release them again. That's tension. It's focusing on each part of the body. Then the thighs, and moving up to the tummy and your shoulders. Now you can bring your shoulders up and then release them. So each part of your body, your fingers, your arms, and of course you can do the same with your face and your head. You can stretch your head, move it from side to side, yawn, tighten the muscles in your jaw, and all these things, close, scrunching up your face and your eyes and then releasing again. All these things is a meditation of the mind and body, because you're bringing yourself from your feet right up to the top of your head, and then you can relax. And I thought that today, when you're doing that relaxation exercise of the whole body, you can sit, but lying down's quite good, and you can work yourself from the toes right up to the top of your head, and you will feel better. These are all mindful exercises, being mindful. I mean, the basis of these and my ABC techniques is all proven psychological approaches of CBT, that's changing your mindset, behaving differently, your humanistic approach, which is taking a more approach of understanding yourself rather than from a counsellor's point of view. Now, I know in mental health is a huge topic, and if people are suffering from mental health and serious mental health issues, then it is important you seek professional help. But there are many of us who maybe don't need that amount of help. It's not just a counsellor or therapist, but you need something that you can turn to every day. And that's why I designed my easy to use techniques. Now, what I thought we'd do is we'd finish with a meditation, a Mind Bites meditation, which would take us into nature. And I'm going to take us again to the beach and horizon. Now, this is very effective if you want to remain positive, have positive energy, and be mighty and strong but flexible. And all my meditations are mindfulness meditation exercises. So I hope you enjoy them. I do have products. Obviously, I will be opening up my Mind Circles website. I hope you join, because I will then be sending out newsletters and other blogs. So for now, I want us to sit comfortably and our feet on the ground, and just close your eyes. I want you to take a deep breath in, focusing, remember, on your breath. Take a deep breath in through the nose, hold, and then relax. Now, when you face challenges, your confidence needs to be increased. You need to have a positive attitude and turn challenges into opportunities. So you're going to focus again on your breath. Breathe in through the nose and then exhale through the mouth. Now imagine you're walking on golden sand. The sand is stretching far into the distance. You feel free. Space is all around you. You can see as far as the horizon. There is only you and this peaceful scene. Sand, sea, and open space. You feel free. You feel confident. You move forward with a sense of purpose. You can sense that freedom. Take another deep breath in through the nose and then exhale. As you breathe in the air. Feel it flow through your body, filling you with confidence. And slowly exhale. Now you can open your eyes and you can say your affirmations. I am positive. I feel free. I know I can face any challenges with confidence and purpose. I know I can turn challenges into opportunities. Now remember, use this meditation and others whenever you want or need to bring positive energy in to your body and mind. But of course, if you do need to seek professional help, never be afraid to do that. But these help in everyday living. The power of the mind is staggering. And just as I want you to use your mind in a positive way, you can get overwhelmed with negative thoughts. And it can be negative thoughts and feelings. And this can immediately turn them around. Your physiology changes within seconds. So please use my ABC core techniques. They do help. And of course, above all, these things are free, is to smile and laugh. Laughter is the best medicine. Even in the times of real challenging times, laughter is the best medicine. And laughter is free. Laugh at yourself, laugh with others, but never laugh at others. I hope you've enjoyed today. This is Mental Health Week Awareness. So tomorrow I'll be continuing on that theme, but don't be afraid of or worry about what mindfulness is. The ABC techniques are the use of using the mind, and they are mindful approaches. Okay, I've loved having you all watching again, and I won't forget, Barbara was the one, I think, that said to me, I know this lady who has these special techniques. And of course, I forget myself. There's a saying in Scotland, is it the cobbler's bairns? So I need reminded as well to use them when I feel down, when I feel negative or a problem arises. So have a great day, and I will tune in tomorrow for, I'm not sure what I've called it. I've got lovely titles now being sent by people. Thank you very much. And of course, all suggestions are they can have a virtual hour of my time if and when they want to do that. So have a great day, and virtual hugs to everybody. Kisses to everybody. Thank you very much.